Hi,
Hello, David.
Susan. How are you?
I'm fine. A
It
whole lot older, but still hanging in.
is, aren't we all?
Yeah,
Ab-
yeah.
Absolutely. You look great.
I'm okay. It's not easy around here, but we're plugging along.
I'm sure it's not. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's not, but I'm glad you're in a place where I assume you have some support.
Yes, it's just made it's huge. It's wonderful. Yeah. How
Good.
are you?
I'm very well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
For
perfect.
for an old guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only 86. Come on.
Yeah. I'm 78 now.
Well, before I forget, Jane said to be sure and say hello to you.
Oh, back to her. And and David, what do I owe you?
um, I'm gonna wait and see if I think some others are gonna join us next week.
Hmm?
And because it really depends on how many people there are. There's one other person who who originated the desire for this class. He'll be with us today. Um, but let me see if we can get another person or two. It makes it a little less.
It was more worth your while, yes, and all the rest of
Well, I'd like it to be reasonably worth my while. Yes.
it. Yes, yes.
So I'll let you know about that.
I know.
So so at one point in one message I saw from you, you have been doing some Tai Chi up there.
Oh, every once in a while, I realize that it didn't matter that I don't remember every move. I can just move.
Yeah,
And I do that often. There's this particular bridge that I go in, nice spot. Yeah,
good, good.
yeah. And it stood me in very good stead. I have the balance of a 17-year-old.
That's great. Good.
Yeah.
It's interesting. My balance is better now than it probably was 10 years ago,
Really?
which is
Well,
surprising.
you had your knee done, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And it was not according to plan.
It was not 100%. I certainly have far less pain. It functions reasonably well. Occasionally, I do have pain with it. It still is somewhat swollen and constantly feels, as I said to my physical therapist, it constantly feels congested. Um, it just feels not full and smooth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, I have a new hip, and my back is glued together where after I fell down some stairs, and
uh-huh,
I now have just about this much esophagus from here. So my stomach's right here in the middle
uh-huh.
of my lungs. I
Well,
I don't recommend that.
no, I'm sure
Oh,
not. Um, yeah, I did have a couple of heart issues, but everything seems to be pretty resolved at this point.
good.
And otherwise, I'm doing well. I have to say, my Tai Chi has certainly been very, very helpful in maintaining my health.
What is the studio now you're not using the studio?
No, you're in my basement right now.
I see. Okay.
Um, and actually, I'll tell you what. I'll switch cameras for a moment, just to you'll be able to see a little bit more. Um, I brought everything over from the studio and squeezed it into my basement. Um,
Great.
And actually, it was a very good thing because that allowed us then to convert the studio into an apartment, and which we rent and gives us a little more income.
Oh, good, good. And so are you teaching classes in your basement?
Yes, I don't have a lot of people coming here. Everything is pretty much mixed to Zoom and in person.
Yeah.
I'm not back during the height of the original pandemic. I was doing entirely Zoom.
Yeah.
But there's Andrew. So I do have some people here. It varies, different classes. I'm doing roughly 5 to 7 classes a week.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And it varies, depends. I have more private lessons some weeks than others. I do have some students who I'm just seeing privately. So, and I have no real beginning students anymore.
Hmm.
I have had a couple appear, but they haven't hung in too long at this point.
Aw.
So I'm mostly teaching more advanced classes.
Andrew's doing the same thing I did, moving all the furniture.
Right.
Moving up space.
You have to.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry for being a moment late, but
It's all right.
here.
Good morning, Andrew.
Morning.
Hey, it's nice to
Hey.
see you.
I know it's been too long.
Yeah, well, isn't that the truth? So we might just have introductions here. Actually, today it's just the two of you. There is a possibility there will be more next week. I'm kind of waiting to hear about that. Andrew, I don't know that I said this to you, but I did to Susan. I am recording, and I will send you both the link to the recording and my class notes each week. So you have no excuse for not practicing.
Okay.
Other than working too much.
Far too much, but yeah, makes sense.
So I don't know. Well, maybe each of you introduce yourself. Andrew,
Yeah.
want to start?
Sure. Well, you know my name, so yeah, I don't know what else there is to know about me. I worked too
How long
much.
have you been studying
and
with me?
yeah, I don't remember. So a long time. It's got to be 7 years now.
Yeah, I would think 7 or 8.
You would think, but I definitely have not been practicing every day for 7 years. So I might know a little more if I had, but that's okay. So yeah, and I am looking forward to this class because every time I start a different class with David, he goes, "Have we done opening the energy gates?" And I go, "No," and he's like, "Man, you really got to do that." So,
Good.
yeah.
Andrew, my name's Susan. I'm an old student of David's. I've been more years out than in, I guess. But 7 years, I think we were, till we moved.
Yep.
To it. But yeah, I'm in an old people's home with my husband. My children call it the Wrinkle Ranch.
The Wrinkle Ranch.
It makes life easier, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Good.
We are.
Well, you both know me over a period of time, so I won't bore you with my statistics.
Yeah.
Although I think I'm up to about 35 years now.
Is that right?
And I do pretty much practice every day.
Go figure.
But so I will start my usual way. You've both been introduced to this. Good. So today will be a little different from how most of our classes will be in that I'm going to talk quite a bit more here at the very beginning. And then we'll go into the first, begin the first practice in Energy Gates. It is indeed a really wonderful Qigong. Bruce says it teaches 60% of the internal Neigong elements of Tai Chi. So it is a really quite a wonderful practice. Some of it will be familiar and not too difficult, and some of it is, I would have to say, pretty hard. So there is a wide range in this. So opening your energy gates has a number of parts. And I just am going to kind of go through a lot of things about this. The very first part is standing. The second part is a Qigong called Cloud Hands, which actually is considered to be the most complete single Qigong practice in the energy arts training. There are 3 swings, which are really different from Master Zhou's swings. And the very last part of the practice is called the Taoist spine stretch, which is really an incredible spine stretch. I might just say that it is and was the core of how, after being diagnosed with severe degenerative arthritis in my lower spine and more recently with spinal stenosis, that I really had about 12 years absolutely pain-free, starting from severe pain at the beginning. So it is a really incredible practice for anyone with any kind of back issues. So the first thing about standing is that the overwhelming majority of Qigong practices anywhere in China are based upon standing. And the question becomes whether or not they actually did the basics to go with it, because many people don't. The trouble is that it's like doing mathematics. If you can't add, subtract, multiply, and divide, when you go to college, all you want to be guaranteed is that that person is not the one who's in charge of the nuclear reactor. Or if you are like a lot of kids today, they can't add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And guess what? They often get cheated at stores. So basics are somewhat important. And there are several things that standing is about. In Tai Chi and everything in Taoism, if you're going to do some sort of practice, standing is rather critical for a number of reasons. The most obvious one is that if you're going to get out of your head and into your body, you can't do that unless you can get into your body. You can't think your way to feeling your body. So this is based upon a few very simple things. The first one is that you have the ability to release your energy at will. So if you have a tense body, you should be able to put your attention on your body and relax it instantaneously. Not going through 3 days and nights of hoping that if your mood changes and you get a better emotional state, you might get more physically relaxed. You should just be able to do it. However, none of us start that way. Everybody knows how stressed out a society we have become. And stress, simply described, is a fancy word for tension. And that's it. You can take the way that stress pragmatically works in human beings, and if they produce no tension, they get no stress. So everything in Taoism starts with the ability to relax the body. If a person can relax their body sufficiently, their mind can go inside the body. If a person can't relax themselves efficiently, they can visualize the body, they can talk to themselves about it, but they won't necessarily be able to feel it. But if you have a high enough level of sensitivity and you can relax enough, the vibrations that are in the body or the sense of feeling are very obvious. For example, Bruce had been tested actually at Harvard Medical School, and it showed that he could move things around in his brain and move internal organs at will. And that is all based on one very simple thing. It's all based upon actually being able to feel. And I might just say that the first time I met Bruce back at Master Joe's Tai Chi farm, one of the things that blew me away was standing about 3 feet away from him when he demonstrated that he could move the bones of his skull. It was pretty freaky, but a clear demonstration of a high level of ability. So right now, move your fingers a little bit. And how did you do that? Did you do it from your brain? How did you actually do it? So, because if you can't feel your hand, you couldn't move your fingers. You just couldn't. You can feel your hand, and somehow something in that feeling says, if I do this or do that, then my fingers will move. But it's all based upon the capacity to be able to feel. Taoists recognized this a long time ago, but they said that that's only the tip of the iceberg. Then they started saying, yes, that's something that's, if it's damaged, you might make it work that way. But what about for something that's normal? Making it able to do what it should be able to do. It's very well known that human beings do not have the practical sensitivities of animals. So what's wrong with us? We have a brain, but every animal basically can feel better than we can move better than we can do almost anything better than we can. So we are the superior whatever. But take away our thumb, and all of a sudden, human superiority goes right out the window. So somehow you get something, you see something, but you only see something if you only lose something if you don't use it. So one of the first fundamental things in Qigong is you have to learn how to feel your body. To do that, somehow, the mind has to be able to enter your body. So one isn't wrong when you say that You can move your toes or move your fingers and your brain did it. But your brain has to be connected to your feet and your hand. At least ultimately it comes down to feeling. Because anything you do in life that involves using your body is primarily done by feeling. And then you can use visualization. You can talk to yourself to do it, but you can't do it, period, if you can't feel it. And that's one big thing. When you start with standing, there are a few things that are very important about it. And it goes through stages, just like when you went to school, you didn't start with differential equations, you start with arithmetic, not for any other reason than that you have to have arithmetic in order to do differential equations. That first thing is that we're going to enable your mind to be able to feel your body. But then even more important than that, feel the energy that's telling your body what to do. Because the energy in the body is information. But when it comes to something that's physical, a human being feels. A picture doesn't feel. There are secondary things that are referring you back to something you once had, but it's not current. I don't know, maybe people who, given the chance, would prefer to take their little video screen to bed with them rather than a person. Well, you probably could be seeking just to find some pill you couldn't eat, so you wouldn't have to bother anyone. So the sense of feeling is a rather big thing. And energy or chi, for the overwhelming majority of people, can be felt. And when it can be felt, you can use it easily to make things happen. But when you can't feel it, you can't make all sorts of pictures. You can make all sorts of pictures in your head and you can generate experience. But understand, computers generate experience. Pornography generates experience. You can see exactly the parts of the brain that are lighting up. It's just that experience is like an empty shadow. It's not terribly real. You can't feel your body if you are overly tense. Anytime a person becomes overly physically tense and their nervous system becomes overly burdened, they can't feel that much anymore, except maybe the anxiety, but they can't feel what's there. They put their hand on something and they barely feel what's there. They barely feel their bodies and they don't actually feel what's going on. Well, chi is the force of life, and life, as long as you have a body, is about feeling. Artificial intelligence won't feel. Electrical circuits will move, but there will be no feeling. There will just be the information processing. So you have to relax. And then we have an interesting little thing. There is this power in the world that's called gravity. And everybody knows what gravity is. But you have to realize something. When gravity flows through your body, every time it hits a place that's tense, that's what you feel. It's the tension. You don't feel relaxation. And that's why it's easier to relax if you lie on the floor or a bed or sit in a very comfy chair, because gravity is not acting on you so much. So one of the things about standing is learning how to stand so that gravity flows through you and doesn't hit you like a big club. Because when it hits you like a big club, people involuntarily tense up without realizing it. And then guess what? They don't feel. You have this very unvirtuous circle that occurs. And now one more step. First, you need to be able to feel your body, and in any standing posture, whether it's embrace the moon, which is a very beginning one, or any other. Once gravity starts hitting you, for a while, you'll feel your body. You'll not be able to ignore its existence, because if you do stand well, there is this thing called pain, which will start making you terribly aware of the fact that you have a body. Whereas if you stand well, you don't get the pain. It will flow right through you. And there is a very, very simple phrase in Chinese that says, if your qi is blocked, you feel pain or you get disease. And if your qi is flowing, you don't get sick and you don't feel pain. So this is equally true with physical qi or mental qi or emotional qi. It is true of energy in general. The first thing that standing is trying to do is to find out how you have to hold your body so that you can let gravity flow through you. And then you can let your energy move through your body without it getting stuck. When qi is blocked in your body, that which you have, you cannot use. And the first procedure that's done is not about trying to get you more energy, in simply making sure that what is in you isn't being blocked. If most people could use what they have, they would have the equivalent to being very wealthy. But the fact of the matter is that they don't. They don't have access to 95% of the qi they have, and therefore they are effectively poor. As we just start looking at what causes qi to block in the body, this now goes a little bit more subtle. I'm just laying out what we're going to be doing to stand. The first thing is that there are certain ways that the body is held, which will either block your qi or free it up and allow it to move. If you don't stand well, it will cause you to block your energy or dissipate it. And the purpose of the postural requirements in standing Qigong throughout all of China are to make sure that you neither block nor dissipate your energy, blow it off or throw it away. There is one very great difficulty, and I want now to tell you the truth. Standing is the one thing that classically in all of Qigong is considered to be the shortest path to success. It is also the biggest pain in the ass because it hurts. And here are the facts of the case. If you just want to feel good, take drugs. Don't learn Qigong. And I'm just telling you straight up. But if you're looking to get your energy clear so that you feel good in general all the time, not as a special event, which is what drugs do, then the first trick is how not to block or dissipate your qi. But here's the situation, the concern. The only thing that's going to do this is going to do is to take you inside yourself, because that's where your qi is. Your qi doesn't belong to the chair you're sitting in, and your personal qi doesn't belong to a cup. Your qi belongs to the person, to you. It's your body and your energy. So there's an old phrase.
I'm gonna have to answer this. We've had a death in the family.
Oh,
I've got to answer this for a minute. I'll be right back, but go ahead. Bye.
oh dear.
I'm on a Tai Chi Zoom, so I'll have to call you back, but, where are you? Are you coming this way? You yes, you did. We, yep,
Things okay over there, Andrew?
okay, good.
They're fine. You know, just full.
Yes,
Uh,
indeed.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'm sorry you have a death in the family. So the phrase that works in meditation and Qigong is the only thing you're going to find when you go inside yourself is what's in you. And there lies the problem, because most people spend half of their lives running away from what's inside of them. The joke in psychology for years was denial is not just a river in Egypt, because if you go inside yourself, you simply have to start off from the proposition that there may be a lot of garbage inside of you. But just like having garbage inside your house, it stinks. And that's a good reason not to go into your house. And it will get worse and worse. Or you can decide to throw the garbage away and start all over again. So the cleaning of what is blocked inside your body can be difficult because remember, where qi is blocked, that is the cause of pain and disease. So you can't really talk about getting strong until internally you're no longer ill, until you're healthy. So here is stage one. Becoming strong is after that. Beg your pardon. Really, you have to be very healthy before you become strong. Otherwise, you could become strong and you can make yourself more and more unhealthy, which is a fact that many athletes live with. And then the end of their careers are not much fun. So the first way in which this is done, because just understanding what the alignments are, is you have to have some way of knowing, am I doing it or not? And the first procedure is called sinking your qi, or getting your qi to drop, because there is a very fundamental principle in Chinese medicine, which is also a very fundamental principle in all qi work. You do two things in life on a giant level. You take in nourishment and you go to the toilet. If all you did was eat or breathe, but you never exhaled and you never went to the toilet, what would happen to you very shortly? You would have toxemia and you would die. So energetically, the principle is very simple. Energy which you can't use, which is effectively toxic, what you can't efficiently process, always flows down. It works the way it does in real life. Tears, sweat, feces, and urine go down. Whenever anybody gets really, really upset, their nerves have to go down. As a matter of fact, even if a person is depressed, if they can really get their energy to drop out of their feet, they will stop being depressed, because that which you cannot process stays stuck in your body. So the first step in Qigong is to get that energy not to rise up in your body, because they don't do that because it's like a pipe. If the pipe is clogged, but you continue to keep the water pressure trying to flow, eventually it blows up. That can happen to a wire that is not large enough to handle the load. It can burn up. So if you encourage too much upward current, have a few great experiences perhaps, and then watch your nervous system blow up. I'm talking hard facts, which nobody likes to hear, but everyone always likes to hear how it's wonderful. But if you want to get to what is wonderful, you have to proceed toward it in a very reasonable fashion. So the first thing is to get your energy to drop, to get your body aligned in a way that will facilitate the dropping, so that when your mind tries to release your tension, the body has a pathway through which the energy can drop. So you could say it's like you are wiring your body up, or you're making a plumbing system that works effectively. This is step 2. And there will be a step 3. But first you have to learn how to hold your body so you do not block or dissipate your chi. The second one is you have to learn how to get your chi, your mind, and your body to relax enough so that your chi will drop. The third thing is another process, which we will be working on in the next classes. It's about a practice that is even stronger and is much more useful for illness. Dropping your chi is enough eventually to get strong, but it won't necessarily remove blockages in your system that are responsible for illness. Now, from Chinese thought, there are 2 types of disease that qi can affect. It can affect in radically different ways. One is that you're just energetically weak. The energy flowing through your channels is just weak. So make it stronger and you'll be fine. But the other type is if your chi is damaged or it's fundamentally stuck. If it's stuck and you charge it up, you'll blow up. So here you have to actually learn to release the damaged chi outside your body. And this is the subject of energy gates. And we'll get to that in the next lesson. So first, we're going to start off with the body. There are, in China, you could say, 2 giant forms of Qigong that end up spinning off all the other ones. There are Taoist ones and there are Buddhist. Buddhist Qigong in general works with really low stances, but Taoism doesn't do that. They try and get central channel and the left and right channels to align, because this is the most natural alignment of energy in the body. What that means is that if you take your shoulders and your hips somewhere between the widths between your shoulders and your hips, you want to have your feet be parallel. And the way to find out what that distance is you just move a little bit until something in you goes thunk. And somehow you have found your energetic center. If you start with both your feet and you take the center of your foot, which actually corresponds to your central channel, and you take the right and left sides of each foot, which corresponds to your right and left channels, and you finally get to the point where they just gel, you're there. If you find that you have put your foot a little bit wider, what happens to everybody is their mind starts moving all over the place, because your mind moves on the waves of your chi. And if the chi is not stable, the mind will not be stable. And that's why many people can't concentrate on anything for more than 20 seconds. Literally, the energy of their body is not stable enough to do it. So, clearly our first practice is standing. And so I'm going to want you to stand.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's okay. Takes a while to get things lined up. So the first thing is to have your feet parallel. And that means that the center of your foot and your toes and heels are all the same distance apart and facing in the same direction. They're like train tracks. And one of the things is to find that width I was just talking about, which is really directly underneath your shoulder's nest. Remember the upper corner of that rectangle in the body formed by the shoulder's nest and the qua. And so a position where the feet are centered directly below that line. So just feel that, find that position. You want to do what you want to do is really just to play around a little bit. Even if your upper body doesn't feel great, you don't need that right at the moment. And then I want you to just move your hips a little forward and back. And if you feel something is very stable in the middle, just by going forward and back, it will not damage that stability. If you go forward and back and something inside you is feeling wobbly, you didn't find it. So you're looking for that stable center position where even the slight movement of your hips doesn't take you out of stability, but allows you to move with it. And then make sure that you have enough space between your thighs so that your perineum is open, because that's where the energy from your feet connects to your upper body, to your pelvis and your torso. And so that needs to open up slightly so you don't feel that it's closed. And now the next thing might be a little bit more difficult. When you find it, you'll never forget it. So the top of your head, we refer to as the crown of your head. So feel the top of your head where the soft spot was, which we refer to as the point by way. And somehow play around with that spot until you can feel the crown of your head connecting with your perineum and to your feet. So it has a sense of being just one thing. You may feel a sense of energy moving depending on how sensitive and open you are to that at this point. Don't visualize. Just try to feel that connection through the whole body from top to bottom. Until your feet, your pelvis, and the crown of your head all come together. And let the crown of your head go up slightly. Let it go toward the ceiling very, very slightly. And then, aware of your eyes, allow them to completely relax and probably close. The main reason you'd want to close your eyes is so you are not distracted from feeling your body. If it doesn't distract you, then there's no reason to close them. But most of us need to in the beginning. Of keeping your head up, I want you to do something else, which we talked about as sinking your chi. So from the crown of your head, just let everything go. And what you're going to feel sinking eventually is your chi. But before that, you're going to feel your blood vessels opening up. And probably feel something warm moving down your body. You're going to feel something that has a distinct physical sensation dropping down your body. And then follow that sensation as it moves down your body. And anywhere you feel it being stopped, with your mind, just try and let it go. Let it expand, whatever place feels stuck. Let it expand until it doesn't feel crunched down, because that's tension. And remember, you want to have your knees slightly bent. Creates a natural shock absorber. And then again, focusing at the crown of your head, have the sense of your strength just dropping downward. Give up your strength. In most people, psychologically, they think, oh, strength, that's a very good thing. But actually, it is a blockage, especially in terms of blood pressure. For one thing, if you go inside your body, that will make you feel very strong. One of the things that makes you feel very strong is high blood pressure. So soft, easy, relax. Let it go and start dropping down. And as you get to your eyes, let any sense of strength in your eyes drop. And if you feel something in that physically dropping down and it's making your body warmer, you're probably on the right track. The warmth is only the fact that your blood is moving. And since qi moves your blood, if you relax your qi, your blood will move faster. Drop on down through your face and your neck. And for the moment, don't go below the bottom of your neck. Now, the second quality you need to release is any sense of tension. Two things fighting with each other. If you look at this physically, it is usually spasming in the blood vessels. But it's more than that. Eventually, when you get into what your acupuncture channels and other channels of your body are, this is simply where they're not working, where something is clogged up, but fighting the energy that is trying to flow and is being stopped. That's what the tension is. Now go from the crown of your head down to the bottom of your throat, all the parts of your head, front of your head, sides of your head, and the back. It's not just your blood. You're releasing your qi. The two primary places that your qi is going to get affected will be your blood and your nerves. And that's just how qi moves through the body. Let yourself stay still. If you release what's in your head, you're going to start feeling what else is in your body. And it means you're feeling yourself. But you don't want to move around randomly. Because that will stop you from feeling what's inside. Now, I want you to go for a third thing, because ultimately we're talking about blood, blocked qi, something that doesn't feel quite right, but you don't know what it is. Something's off. There is strain. Something is just not the way it should be. Very often we also have emotions inside our body, and they are also qi. So it could be emotional. It doesn't necessarily have to be. You would be surprised at all the cute little physical things you can have going on. Cute little blockages that can be showing and slowing your energy channels. But you do have to define it. You don't have to define it. You don't have to understand it. You just need to recognize it's there so you can release it. Once it's released and it's gone, it actually doesn't matter what was there because it isn't there anymore. You don't have to pick apart every piece of garbage in your house to know what's in it. You take it outside and throw it in the trash can. And that's necessary. The understanding may or may not be necessary. And the last thing you want to release in your head is fairly tricky. Any sense of contraction, something involuntarily closing down. And as you come down to your neck, allow yourself to go on down to the bottom of the chest, including your shoulders and ribs, and down to that same level in your arms. What you're actually trying to do now is to get your brain to fuse with your body, not just hyperactivate your brain. Now, there are lots of techniques, chi techniques, that use visualization. But in Taoism, any chi technique that uses visualization, but you don't feel what you're doing at the same time, is actually probably Buddhist. It's not what's been done by Taoists in China for thousands of years. So feel down to your neck and your shoulders. And remember, the back of your body is also part of your body. The back of your shoulders, your shoulder blades, your upper back, as well as your sides and your ribs, all part of your body. You need to feel all three: front, sides, and back. Releasing any strength from the crown of your head all the way down to the bottom of your chest, but also the sides, shoulders and arms and back of your body. And releasing any tension, two things fighting with each other. Besides our conscious thoughts that we are aware of, we have a lot of subliminal thoughts that are going on all the time beneath the range of our conscious thinking. And their tension, their fight, plays out in the nervous system, as well as giving your blood vessels tension. Tension precedes a heart attack or stroke. Or put it this way, it reaches a peak as you're having one. Now again, flowing from the top down to the bottom of your chest. Something that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is. Just an odd feeling. You don't know what it is in the beginning, and it may be months or years before you find out what it is. Or it may not matter, and you can let it go. You don't have to know what's in the garbage. It's important to get the garbage out of your house because you'll live with what's inside your body, whether you understand it or not. And then any sort of contraction. Remember the crown of your head connected to your perineum, connected to your feet. Make sure the way you are standing, everything is connected all the way through your body. So that as you release one thing in any place in your body, it has a way to move down through your body and exit your feet. It has a way of completing itself, completing the circuit. And now I want you to focus on your breathing. See if you can breathe from your belly or at least from your diaphragm. See if with each inhale, you can become more aware of what's blocked inside you. And with each exhale, simply do your best to release it and let it flow downward, sinking your chi. Not raising your energy. Let it flow down. So if you feel a blockage in your ears, release and let it go down to the bottom of your chest. If you feel it in your neck, let it go. And so we don't want to do too much. So open up your eyes very, very slowly. Because you've had your eyes closed, which means you've been deeply inside yourself. You want not to cause a shock to your nerves. If you suddenly open up your eyes, you can cause that which you have been releasing to freeze up again. So open your eyes very, very gently as you return. So sit down and relax. I only see the top of your head, Susan.
No.
Sorry. So this actually is what I want you to practice until we meet again. And I think it may be very helpful to have the recording and the notes. You don't have to listen to me and do this. You can do it entirely on your own, which eventually you do want to be able to do. Anybody have either of you have a question?
I found that my calves kind of contracted with standing that long, but obviously it's blocked somewhere right there. Yeah.
You have had experience with dissolving because you did the meditation class. So that's really part of this practice also. But this is just an introduction of that, of course. Anything for you, Andrew?
A lot. I guess the largest thing would be not the connection between the feet and the perineum and byway I was uncertain of how it seemed like a thing, the way you described it, like if you know, you know, like if you're doing it, you will know. And when it's like that, I suddenly become very unsure.
Yeah.
Ironically, because I'm like, well, I think I know, but I don't know if I really know. Like, I don't know what I don't know. I guess the bigger connection, like this, the perineum and byway, I'm like, okay, well, those are in a line. That like that makes sense. But my feet aren't under, so it can't be. So I don't understand how it can. Like, I don't understand the shape that it would be in. And I guess it would be like my legs, but that feels very angular between.
So if you think about I'm assuming that I think that both of you have had the chart showing the flowing of the central and left and right channels in the body. So yes, it's very easy to think of those 2 points lined up. One of the things, of course, to be aware of is that the central channel also flows through the middle of the bones of the arms and the legs, and the fingers and the toes, as a matter of fact. So that straight line, while it divides at the perineum and goes through to the qua and down the legs, it is a straight connection through the central channel. So you can feel a connection from the feet to the top of the head as a straight line of energy flowing through the body. And I understand what you're saying about it. It's not something I can't give you.
Yeah.
If you do exactly this, you will feel this, that's it. It is something you have to find, and it's like, in a way, it's definitely related to simply finding that stable center with the hips. It's a very intuitive feeling, and one of the things that you will get is, eventually at least, is when you get that line through the body, you will feel the energy particularly flowing all the way through those 3 points that we're talking about at the moment. It will also flow through the arms to the hands and fingers too. But at the moment, we're keeping it a little simpler and just using Bai Hui and the perineum and the feet.
Okay.
But it's really interesting because there is an alignment which will allow that energy to flow, and all of a sudden you'll feel it, particularly at least for me, when I get that connection, I feel the energy flow up my back to the top of my head.
That was the other, well, one of the other questions, because it felt like trying to release and let things go down, that connection was the upward, it felt as if that was the upward pressure needed to let the other things come down. And I don't know if that makes any sense or not. Or if that's real, or if that should really be where things go to go down.
The upward flow is always going to be there. So that's one of the things about the energy, is that it always is flowing in both directions. However, through your intent and correct alignment, you can cause it to go primarily, or to be primarily aware of it going in one direction.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're not trying to deny that there is an upward flow, because the upward flow is going to be there. It's actually more natural and stronger than the downward flow, which is why we have to focus on it and really learn to allow ourselves to sync the chi. Because that's essential, because that's how we release the used and noxious chi from the body that the body can't use. And one of the nice things about the earth is that it actually purifies that chi, so that the naturally rising chi is chi that we can use.
Okay. Because I always had a sense of like everything goes down. And it would kind of, I could like do it a little bit, right? And then I just had a feeling of like, now it's pushing back. So letting go of that is helpful to know that it's okay that something wants to go up. Like it doesn't all need to go down.
Well, there will be up no matter what. So
Right.
yes,
Okay.
but you want to focus, and again, like everything else in our practices, you can't force it to go down. You have to allow it to go down. So that's one of the hard parts for us, because our Western mind says, well, I could make it do this. But unfortunately, that doesn't work very well. And so creating the structure and the openness to allow the energy to sync will actually increase its ability to sync.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so that's where we're going today. Either of you have any other questions about this? Susan, actually, you don't know this, so I should tell you. And Andrew actually is also working on the Yang long form, so his class will go on after we stop.
Okay.
So I just let you know, so you know what's going on here.
Okay. Are we done? Shall I?
So we're done.
Okay. Good to be back.
Nice to have you back.
Ah, it's so good. Nothing else works. Other people do it differently. And it's not the same.
Well, yes, I do it my way, I guess.
Okay, thank you. See you next week.
Great. Have
Bye,
a,
Andrew. David.
Hi.
thank you. Okay. Do you have any other questions about that, Andrew? I'm not meaning to cut you off.
No, I mean, I understand that. Time isn't forever. So right near the end,
Mhm.
I had like a little bit of pain in my knee.
Uh-huh.
And, I know in the introduction that, there was there was a bit about like, it's not going to be comfortable, if you want to feel good, go do drugs. But I also, that feels like it's a misalignment of the weight or like something drifted out of foot, like particularly just the knee. And I know I said a lot, and I know that's going to probably be, knees, hips, shoulders, lower back. So all of it. But, should that be something that I just like, I'm like, okay, like not ignore, but not fret over, or is that like a strong signal? It was in the front top of the knee, if that helps at all.
So this is part of the difficulty with Zoom, because it's hard for me to see something like that clearly. My first thought would be that you were not keeping your weight stably in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things in this would be, and also make sure that you are letting yourself drop to that relaxed base level, which I think we've talked about before. So but making sure that you don't let the weight move onto the toes and stay there, or onto the side of the foot. I mean, it's a little hard for me to know exactly what went on, but that would indicate to me that somehow you did not have the knee aligned so the energy could flow smoothly through it.
Yeah. No, I think I ended up having my weight like on my toe and off to the side.
Yeah. Okay.
I have arched, like I think most people, I have arched feet. I'm wondering, I feel like I've asked, I don't know. Should the foot, it's kind of a weird question. Should the foot have the arch, or should I let because like I can kind of relax and like let the ankle of the foot take some of the rotation and have like the part of my foot that it is the arch touch the ground, so that the left and right of my foot are all the way on the ground. But then like I feel like I'm kind of drawing my knees in, and I'm kind of cocking my, and it's small, I'm not like doing this, but yeah, I guess like, or should I let my foot be springy and have it, because then I feel like I'm really on the outside of my feet. And so if I'm trying to keep an equal middle sides.
It should be equal.
Okay.
Whatever that means in terms of the arch.
Yeah.
You're certainly not trying to get rid of the arch. That's not because not part of this particular practice, not part of energy gates, but when you get into opening and closing, the arch is part of the movement of opening and closing the feet. So,
Okay.
so it should not disappear.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because that was like my natural inclination of like, that's probably leave it alone. But I'll think about it nonstop if I don't ask.
Yeah, no. Always ask, Andrew.
Mhm. Yeah.
I,
Yeah. I don't know, I'll play with the strength as something to let go is odd. I don't know how else to describe it. It elicits a quality of a drastically different, or it elicits a feeling of a drastically different quality of energy in where it happens.
uh-huh.
I don't know. That's it. That's it.
My feeling is to say good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just interesting.
We will be revisiting more than once those 4 qualities that I just mentioned today
Okay. Yeah.
in much greater detail.
Okay.
So we will go into that. Those are the 4 basic qualities of blocked energy that the Taoists have developed.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Do they? Is the order important?
It seems to be.
Okay. Yeah.
It is the order that it's always taught and done in, as far as I know.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm quick to be like, oh, that was interesting. That's just quick. Like next time I do it myself, I'll just like, let's go look for that again. Instead of
Well, just because you are trying to be aware of the 4 doesn't mean that you will have all 4. You might, maybe you only have 1, but that's today at this time. The next time you do it, it may be totally different.
Right.
So that's kind of one of the things, is that you always go through all of them, and any one or more than one of them may be really simple. Oh, there's no problem with tension. I don't have any tension at all today. Nothing's fighting in me. I feel great. Maybe there's no problem with that at all. But then when you get to contraction, it's like, oh, why is that spot contracted?
Right. And then were there handouts that were emailed, or are we going to get those?
You will get those. You will get you're actually going to get a lot in probably this afternoon. You'll get everything that I went through today. You will get a copy of.
Okay, cool, excellent.
Plus some other handouts too.
Okay, yeah.
So you get a lot of reading, and I will send you the link to the video.
Perfect.
It's actually, I put it on, I have a YouTube account.
Right.
Posted on my YouTube account.
Perfect. And then with the handouts, if they don't, it would be really anything you have on the pathways of the energy channels,
Oh, sure.
you know, more details
Uh-huh.
help, because yeah, I find that if I don't have a sense of where stuff should be going,
Uh-huh.
it's I don't know. Yeah, it's just interesting.
I'll make
'Cause
sure
I-
I send that to you. It's possible that I haven't given you that to you before.
I'm sure you probably have. I just
That's okay. No,
Yeah.
it's no big deal. There are no big deals. So,
Yeah.
anything else before we go to the Yang style?
I if there is, I've forgotten it, so that's fine.
Okay, so I should have said this to Susan too, but you can always email me or um, call me or whatever
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
you have a question.
Yeah.
Just like I email you with questions.
Yeah. Actually, more related to that, something like that. I think you wanted changes on the website, but I can't find it in a message or an email. And so now I don't know what you wanted me to do. I
Oh,
think like one of the things was like change the directions because the bridge, a bridge got built, or there's
yeah.
no-
You had put up that drive around for Route 82 because they were closing it to, do the bridge.
Okay, so I'll take
Oh.
that down.
But they don't need that anymore. It's done. And they
Okay.
did a nice job.
Was that it, or?
I think so at the moment.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, perfect.
I have been sort of thinking that I should put up a general notice about what teaching I am doing, and say if anybody wants more information, they should get in touch with me rather than try to put it into writing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if you write up what you want the message to say, otherwise
Yeah.
I'll just make up words and
Okay.
and yeah, email it over.
Okay.
Cool.
Will do.
But that'll do it. Yeah.
Good. So, do you have any Yang style questions?
Just let's maybe review.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you stopped?
I want to say wave hands. I
Yeah.
think a little bit after it, but I think we keep if we got to wave hands, that would be good.
Okay. Well, let's flow to wave hands.
Yeah,
I'm gonna change the camera here
yeah.
so you can see more of me.
I think I'll have better luck over here. With a little bit of work. Maybe if I put you here. Clean up some of these books.
I'm sorry?
I said if I put you here and I clean up some of these books.
Oh.
I'm in Lyra and Rowan's room. Okay. What does that look like for you? Pretty good.
Tell me when you're ready.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Okay. All set.
Okay. We'll just stand for a moment. Breathe. Let yourself settle. Begin Tai Chi addressing the earth. Spiraling down into the left. Stepping out empty with the right heel. Rotate rising into Pung. Slowly sink. Jeet. Liu. On. Shifting left. Release. Turn the leg. Shift on to it. Release in. Step forward empty. Shift. Ward off left. Shift forward and reset. Sink into the right and rotate rising into ward off right. Release. Roll back. Sink. Turn. Sinking back and down. Forward and up to press. Back and down. Forward and up to push down. Sitting back, draw in and turn the right leg, rotate onto it, step with the left, and shift, extending out, twist step, into single whip. Turn on the left heel, right toe, drop the heel and up, lift hand, turn. Right. Turn and step forward, shift, push down, reset, sit back and play peacock, draw in and step forward, rush knee, sit back and turn, step, another brush knee, back and turn, rush knee left. Shift forward, reset, sit on it, touch and play peacock. Draw in, step, rush knee, sit back, form the fist, shift onto the left, kick, elbow strike, back fist, step forward and punch. Withdraw and push. Sit back and turn on the left heel. Rotate back onto it and up and across hands. Release the right leg. Turn, turning the right arm down. Turn on the left toe and sit back onto it. Pull in and step to the corner. Shift. Embrace tighten. back and down, rotating up to ward off right and release. Sink, turn, press forward, push downward. Sit back and turn. Rotate on to the right and step to the front corner. Single whip to the left front corner. Sit back, turn the left leg, shift on to it, step forward with the right empty, rotate, shift on to the right, and step forward and fist under elbow. Rotating back to the right, step with the left and repulse monkey. Draw in and step, repulse monkey. Draw in and step, repulse monkey. Draw in, step to the front, shift, expanding out into diagonal flying. Shift forward, reset, and another lift hand. Turn, rising into white crane, rotate in and step, brush knee. Shift forward, reset the right, coming back through an S curve, forming sword fingers and connect and up, down through needle at C bottom. Rise and step, shift forward, turn into down and fan through the back. Turn on the right toe, step around with the left, step and back fist. Turning left, going through the S curve, pulling down, draw in, up and kick, elbow, back fist, step forward, shift and punch. Back, brace the moon, step forward and ward off right. Roll back. Press forward. Push downward. And shift back. Turn. Rotate onto it and step with the left. Single whip. And then wave hands. Turn on the left heel. Turn on the right heel. Keep turning to step forward. Turn left. Stepping in. Turn right. Stepping out. In. Out. In and forward, embrace the moon, step back and single whip. And
Yeah, wasn't too bad. I forgot about the set of press and push and single whip right before cloud hands. And, but generally, yeah, no, it actually felt better than I thought it would go.
good. It occurs to me that there are, I've made two changes in there that you don't know about.
Okay.
So I probably ought to communicate those two changes to you.
Sure. Excuse me.
Kind of interesting. One is fist under elbow, which I have, I don't know whether I learned it wrong, but I realized that it just, it's a small thing right at the very end of it. So let me demonstrate it and explain it to you. Okay. I'm going to turn it to face you first anyway.
Okay.
So we've gone to single whip, and we sweep out, we have that ear strike, we shift onto the right, and then as you rotate forward, going out with the palm, you allow the body to rotate past straight ahead, which is the first part of the change. The rest of it is without shifting forward, you turn back forward and extend the fist so that you have fist actually making a punch.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just that you come around into this. You just shift, that shift remains the same. Here you let your body go ahead and turn where it wants to turn, which is in the direction of the right foot. And then you rotate back to the left in order to punch first.
Okay.
Punch at the end, yeah?
Yeah. Right. Because it always felt like more of like the elbow was a strike.
Yeah.
And that was it. That makes more sense. And then the arm just comes with the body, right?
Yeah.
It's just.
Wait a minute. What am I doing here? I don't want any of those. Come on. There we go. Oh, I love all of this.
Yeah.
There we go. Now, what I was trying to do was see you. There you are.
Yeah. So. It's a step. Yep. Roughly. And I'll try to make sure you're there. So the arm, it just comes with me, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So the left arm now is doing a deflection there.
Okay.
As you punch, which makes more sense of that whole movement.
Right. Sure enough. So is there any rotation there?
Yes. Yep.
I mean, in the arm.
Yeah, in the left arm, yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
The other one is this is the same the fact that I realize that the move that Master Joe taught in the single arm 8 gates practice is what should be happening after we do that side, we turn and we have that back fist, and then we go into the kick. But the first part, we have that S curve. Well, the body should only rotate in one direction as that arm goes through the S curve. And then you come in and go into the kick.
That makes sense. Yeah. I'm trying to think if my body didn't go in one direction.
Yeah, well, originally, again, I think this is one I learned wrong. Now, because I realized that what I was teaching was that you turned with that arm as you went back. And that's not what he's teaching in that 8 gate practice. And this makes much more sense in terms of martial application.
Right.
So it just goes right on. The only problem here is the same one we have in the 8 gates practice, is that you have to keep the rotation of the body going in one direction all the way through to the bottom of that S curve, and then to go into the kick.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I always just did that. That's not a change, because I just forgot the way that.
Good.
Yeah, I guess I was just like, no, I'm gonna go there. There's no, because the only spot I do that I've ever done that is for needle at C bottom.
Yeah, that one you do. That one you do.
Right.
It's good.
That's funny. Now I guess I just rejected that concept, and
and I didn't catch it before, so
that's funny. That's funny.
Okay.
Nice.
So
were you recording this as well?
Yep.
Excellent. Cool. Perfect.
I knew you'd like that.
Thank you.
So other questions?
No. Yeah, I'm just trying to no, I guess more generally,
Mhm.
boop boop boop. Maybe they'll just the like I believe it's Pung energy. Is there an exercise around that, or because I feel like I don't, I feel like I'll have it and then I'll move and then like I'll get to maybe like the next posture, like oh, like we're there, and then like I can get it, and then like I'm moving, and like it all just kind of goes away while I'm moving, and then I'll like get to the posture, and then so like without it, because whenever I feel like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like carry it with me, I feel like I'm just actually just really tense, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm so
Well, what I think you're talking about here is that we don't normally talk about the energies, the specific energies as they flow through the transitions and the postures.
Mhm.
So in those transitions from one posture to another, you don't just keep the same energy going. It's a whole sequence of energies flowing through that.
Right.
So I think what's happening, if I'm understanding you correctly, is you're feeling some sense of pung when you're in that position, but then you go to the next posture and you don't know what's happening.
It's like as soon as I start moving from any even if like from standing, maybe like not right at the beginning, but like I can like get a sense of like, okay, this is a thing.
Mhm.
I feel like I can have some structure here or eventually find it, right?
Yeah.
And then the moment I start moving, I don't, if I had to like move and someone was gonna like press on me, the
Mhm.
moment I move, I feel like the whole thing is just gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
And that now I am back to having many parts of one body, not
Yeah.
not a thing that's like all doing a thing together.
So
Yeah.
usually we don't go into this until we've gotten through the whole form.
Okay.
But,
Gotcha.
but even there, where you're talking about, when you get to pung, the next thing is liu, roll back. So there is could be a pulling in. It could be just letting that person's pressure come in before you go back in G. So it's a constant flow through the 8 energies. There are 4 primary ones and 4 secondary ones, but
Right.
the energies are constantly changing, and eventually, of course, they start changing in each hand and not necessarily together.
Okay.
So it gets pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is part of why usually we don't get into that until you at least know what all the postures are.
Yeah.
In it from a
That makes sense.
physical sense before we start worrying about the energies. But if there are places where it's really bothering you, I don't object to talking about that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to just if there's any particular spot where I'm like, this can't be right, I will try to notate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Perfect.
Good. So we'll have class in 2 weeks.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we won't have class then until January.
Okay. That's fine.
Because I take a break from
Nice.
Christmas to New Year's.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be kind of busy in there too. Or maybe not.
Yeah. Well, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And, hopefully, I'm hoping work is calm. We'll see. But yeah.
So are you guys worried about this new variant?
Oh, I haven't even said any. I don't know if Kai even knows about it.
Don't tell her.
Well, yes, that's what no, right. So far it's, I don't know. What are you gonna do?
Well, there isn't anything to do except keep doing what we're doing.
Right. Stock up on some more stuff, I guess. But yeah, no. It would just be really unfortunate, you know. It stinks for like my parents to not be able to get to interact with Rowan and Lyra. You know what I mean?
I know.
You know, like conceptually, it's hard to not get to see people and hang out with them, but it's not. I'm like, oh, they'll still be there. You know, nobody. You know, realistically, people aren't going anywhere.
No.
But, you know, like they are missing out on. Like Lyra's not going to be 3 again.
Yeah.
You know, Rowan's not going to be. You know, they didn't get to really experience Rowan as a baby, so yeah, that's rough.
That's the reality of our world.
Yeah. And so for a new variant to pop up and potentially reset the timer on that, it's like mother. Mother. So we'll see. Yeah. But there's been other ones and then they, you know, fizzle out or don't. So hope for that.
So the kids are doing well?
Yeah. Lyra, I mean, she has been super upset for the past 20 minutes about something. I can still hear her, but generally they're great. She,
good.
She's reading really well.
Wow.
Super smart. You know, Rowan, has started not hitting his head against things quite so much.
Oh, good. Oh.
He went through a phase. I've told you before. Lyra was like telling us how she taught herself how to tally when counting, like 1, 2, 3, 4. As she's telling us how she taught herself, we didn't do it. How to do that? Rowan is in the living room, just smashing his face into the closet and laughing.
Oh no!
The juxtaposition was pretty rich.
Yeah, indeed.
But no, he's running around now. He can kind of talk a little bit.
Oh, good.
He'll like take something of like, Rowan, like we really need you to put it back, and he'll be like, so that's cool. You can see he understands what we're saying, but just can't get it out of his mouth. So that's cool. So yeah, they're great. You know, good as can be. Yeah.
Well, give Lyra a hug for us.
Absolutely. Rowan too, and Kaya.
Please.
Yeah, we miss you.
Miss you too, but that's where we are.
Yeah.
Glad we can do this.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad I you know, stuffed out the time, just made it. Yeah. No, it felt nice to have a class again. And yeah, just text me. I have no concept of what I owe you. Text me that, and if you want, just for the rest of the classes and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is what we've done with the other classes. I've done with the other classes is do it on a 6-class group.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'll let you know.
Sure. Awesome.
Alrighty.
All right.
Take
Thank you
care,
so
buddy.
much.
Thanks.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.